It's been an incredible ride for the shares of Thales, up 130% over the past 3 years, 50% just over the past year. Of course, because of increased defense spending pledges, particularly from European countries, fears of disengagement from the US, from Ukraine, and from European security. But you've said about a few months ago that these won't trickle down into your business until 26, if not 27, until these pledges become actual orders. So are all these investors getting a little bit ahead of themselves?
Yes and no. Yes and no. On one hand, they are, yes, anticipating a decision that will come soon. We are still, I would say, seeing some bold statements on defense spendings that are supposed to increase in the future. Now, they have also revised probably their long-term growth perspective. Mm-hmm. And if you try to value a company, of course, you look at the short term, but you look also at the terminal value of the company. And definitely the terminal value has been, I would say, better, probably valorized by investors now.
So there is a concern, and of course we're just a few days before a big NATO summit that might see bigger pledges of spending from GDP on defense. A concern that all this money might go into big players, including you, rather than startups and smaller players and some that maybe ahead in innovation. Do you share this concern, or are you also on the lookout potentially for some startups to be ahead of their innovation?
I really don't understand this type of, I would say, opposition between large companies and startups. I think it's quite artificial. In our case, we work with many stakeholders. We work with academic labs. We work with SMEs, startups, and we all need, I would say, to work in an ecosystem. So why should we oppose one with another? I really don't understand this statement.
You've been in this job for 10 years, so you've seen some key evolutions in the defense industry in particular. And we know that Ukraine has been a bit of a testing ground for the new warfare to a certain extent, and how it's been a mix of tanks and ammunition being crucial, but also new technologies, drones, AI, etc. So can I just have your take on how things have evolved and how you're adapting your business to the new warfare?
But what we've seen in Ukraine is, I would say, of different types. Number one, the massive use of drones, clearly. It's new and not new. Drones are not new. The massive use of drones is new, indeed. We have seen as well the fact that we need, at the same time, very, I would say, robust, let's say, technology or pieces of equipment, or still very high-end type of equipments. We need both, in fact, in this domain. So again, we shall not oppose, things that are super robust and super useful with high tech that we would not need anymore. In fact, we need everything.
For the defense ramp up, there's also questions about capacity. You have a backlog, I think you said it's 2.5 times revenue last year, at the end of last year. There's a view that big backlogs reflect a deficit in industrial capacity. So can I just have your take on how you're adapting your business here again on the ramp up? And also when it comes to workforce and engineers and all that, how are you facing this upcoming demand?
We have adapted very quickly onto this new level of demand. We have tripled our production in the radar field, in the chipset, for instance, for the Rafale combat aircraft. We have multiplied by 3 or 4 our ammunition business in this domain. So that's our job. I mean, to adapt to this new level of need. Of course, again, we are not alone. We are interdependent with our supply chain, our suppliers. We need, and we have done so, to support them as well, especially when they are, I would say, less big than Thales, if I may. But we are managing the situation. It's under control, I mean.
We heard a few days ago that the French Defense Ministry had approached Renault to build some drones potentially in Ukraine. Were you surprised by this, or do you anticipate that we might see more of this kind of announcement?
No, it's not surprising. We are as well, by the way, Thales, looking at how we can partner, not only with long-lasting defense established players, but also new entrants and also industries that are different from the defense industry, but that can bring things that would make things even better. And typically, the automotive sector, they know how to produce, I would say, large quantities of, let's say, semi-complex objects, if I may, and in a very competitive manner. So it's a good mix, typically, for the drone case, it's a good mix to leverage this industry to serve our customers.
How about the supply chain? Are things getting better? And can we focus in particular around rare earth? We know there's been some talks and negotiations between US and Chinese delegations in London, and there was some particular concern around some export restrictions from China on rare earth. We know it is crucial for the defense industry as well. So can I just have your view on rare earth and how the supply chain overall looks?
Perhaps if we take a step back, first, the situation is gradually improving overall. We discussed, as far as we are concerned, in the recent past about tensions in mechanical parts, some electronic boards typically. So it's gradually improving. That's first point. Number two, on the rare earth thing, it's much lower down in our supply chain. So it's not directly visible to us. Of course, if we lack these, I would say, key resources at one stage, it will impact us. But for the moment, it's much too low in the supply chain to be visible and to have any impact on what we do at the other end.